Officially announced her campaign to run for New Orleans mayor in 2025. It happened this morning. Rob Krieger has the details on this. Rob, what do we know?
Yeah, well, Lucy, Moreno was elected to city council in 2017, and this morning she says she's running to lead New Orleans, releasing a video today announcing her campaign. Now, Moreno started her career as a journalist in New Orleans before state legislature, says during her time at the Capitol, she fought to improve access to health care, increase public safety, and raise wages, as well as passing legislation protecting victims of violence. After her time in the legislature, she was elected to the New Orleans City Council, serving as council president and representing the city through COVID and Hurricane Ida. In her campaign announcement, she says she will be a 24/7 mayor, promising to work overtime for safer neighborhoods and to complete infrastructure projects that have stretched past projected timelines. Now, I spoke with Councilmember Oliver Thomas just a few minutes ago. He says he has not yet made a decision on whether he will run for mayor. This morning, Thomas tells me there's too much work to be done now in the city between battling crime, the budget, and the upcoming Super Bowl to start a campaign right now, saying his focus is on his position as a councilman, considering the challenges in New Orleans. And I just received a text back from a spokesperson with Senator Royce Duplessis. He says in response to Helena running for mayor, he says the people of New Orleans tell me, that's Royce Duplessis, they are exhausted with the chaos and fights that don't get things done for them. He says we need a leader that has proven that they don't just report problems, but solves them. And that's, again, attributed to Senator Royce Duplessis, who has not announced whether or not he intends to run for mayor. That is the very latest here for the newsroom. Let's send it over now to Kelsey Davis with some additional information on this.
Thank you so much, Robin. Joining me this morning is Fox 8 political analyst Mike Sherman, who has had a chance, I believe, to read the statement that was sent out from the Helena Moreno campaign. Mike, good morning. Thanks for joining us as we cover this breaking news. Your thoughts on this announcement from Helena Moreno planning to run for mayor coming out today?
Well, this is very exciting news. The mayor's race has begun. This is like a Christmas present for Fox 8 political analysts. It is an unsurprising announcement because we were anticipating Council President Moreno to run, but still, this marks the beginning of the mayoral election season, only less than a year away, and certainly raises the pressure for others looking at it to get in the race sooner rather than later.
And funny you mentioned that. Well, that was the next thing I was going to ask you. Of course, Rob, right before he came to us, mentioned that he did speak. He reached out to Senator Royce Duplessis' camp this morning, I should say, to get a response to Helena Moreno jumping into the race. Also reached out to Council Member Oliver Thomas to get his thoughts on this and/or his statement about his possible plans to run. These are two names that you keep hearing as potentials to also join in this race. Kind of give us more information on what you've heard about those two fronts, and what are some other names that we could possibly see enter this race? Again, that's under a year away now, believe it or not.
It is. It's not a lot of time, actually, for someone to make sure voters know who they are, what their message is, to raise funds. So I would think folks who are serious about this race would have to get in early next year at the very latest, unless they're an incredibly well-known name. You know, Governor Jeff Landry had an interesting strategy. He was the early front runner, raised a lot of money early, was on the campaign trail for many years, and kept that all the way through a very early election victory as Louisiana governor. Helena Moreno enters the race as the front runner, the sitting city council president, a name well known to New Orleanians, high favorability. It appears she's successfully raising significant funds. So anyone else thinking about running for mayor now knows what they're up against.
Mike, I'm not sure if our viewers had paid attention to what just happened in Baton Rouge with the mayor-president's race there, but that was a very long, contentious race. An incumbent running for, I believe, a third term, lost in a runoff election. Lots of recognizable names in that race. And we just mentioned Helena Moreno, of course, now announced Oliver Thomas's name being swirled around, of course, Royce Duplessis' name being swirled around, and others. We're kind of seeing this push, if you will, across the country of newer names jumping into races. Do you see newer names, another name jumping into the race and kind of being the dark horse, if you will, that could really make this race, again, that's only a year away, even more contentious?
Well, an open mayor's race is a treasure for someone looking to make a difference. We're a city right now that unfortunately voters think we're in the wrong direction. So this is a change election, someone who can come in and change the momentum. Oliver Thomas will certainly be a formidable opponent, a well-known city council member who's been in politics for several decades. It's very likely that he'll run. He hasn't made an announcement yet. Two state legislators, Royce Duplessis, Delisha Boyd, their names are floating around. Retired Judge Arthur Hunter, another name we've heard. But could there be someone else, a business candidate or someone else looking at it? I think so. But right now, they're going to have a formidable frontrunner in popular city councilmember Helena Moreno, who has now made her run official.
Well, Mike Sherman, as you mentioned, the mayor's race is officially on. We will, of course, be talking to you over the next few months as additional names officially jump into this race. We appreciate your time this morning.
Good to be with you.
All right.
All right, Kelsey, thanks for that. Thank you, Mike. So